That, of course, a bit of Toby Gray live on, well, not live, we are broadcasting live from the Petrochemical Roadshow in Sekunda, of course, and that's a wonderful, frisky, cold, actually really cold, freezing cold Thursday morning. My name is Martin Rewind, the name of the show, and of course, with me this morning, I've got Patrick from a company called Babcock. Patrick, good morning, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Good morning, Martin. Thank you very much for having us today.
Well, you know what? This is such a gentleman, eh? Came up to me, he sneaked his way into our broadcast unit this morning. Patrick, Babcock Engineer. Well, is it Babcock Engineering or is it just Babcock now? Because I remember my good old days, it was Babcock Engineering.
Well, Babcock in Africa consists of several business units, 4 of them to be exact.
Yeah.
So Babcock Engineering is one business unit.
Okay, that's just a division of.
Yes.
So Babcock is the holding, the sort of umbrella company.
That's correct.
Okay.
And later on, you'll probably have a talk with my colleague from Plant Services, so you'll get to know about that part of the business as well.
That's something I'm very interested in because I used to work in the plants and I used to play around with the mills and mill liners and stuff like that. But Patrick, your division, which division are you in?
So we are Babcock Engineering, Babcock and Tutugo Engineering to be exact.
Okay.
And what we do is we take care of the entire combustion value chain of the boiler infrastructure within a power generation or within a process plant.
So you would be working with the likes of Eskom?
That's correct.
Amongst others.
Amongst others,
but,
yes.
I mean, in South Africa, we would now sort of refer to Eskom because that's sort of our major power provider. Or
Yes.
I'm not going to... But one of those, yeah. But now, exactly what is it that you guys then do? Do you just sort of, do you fabricate, manufacture? Let's dive into the nuts and bolts of exactly what you guys do.
Okay, for sure. Let me take you through as much as I can in the time that I have. So we basically take care of the boiler and steam plant, the thermal engineering thereof. We do boiler upgrades and conversions. We do emissions abatement for those boilers, life extension studies. You would know that a boiler has to operate for a certain amount of time, and after a certain amount of time, it needs to be decommissioned. So we can sometimes extend the life of those. We do the mechanical pressure part design, FEA, 3D scanning of that, piping stress analysis, welding analysis, flue gas testing, data analysis. And then we also do the manufacturing. We do specialized manufacturing of the pressure parts to do with the reticulation of steam and water around the boiler.
That is severe engineering. I mean, that's extreme engineering, high-tech stuff.
Yes.
Because you're working at extremely high pressure levels, especially in producing what I think it's superheated steam. Superheated steam.
So the steam is what we feed into the turbines that then becomes part of the turbine, the generator set that produces electricity. So it needs to go through a boiler to get it up to those sorts of pressures and temperatures that it can then be useful. So
you guys work to extreme specifications.
Absolutely.
Like massive specifications.
Both American and European norms, BS, EN, and then also ASME, which is the American specification. Yes.
So you sort of you work in accordance to international standards.
That's correct.
On what you guys do, but do you only work with SOEs, state-owned enterprises?
Not at all, Martin. We basically in the sectors that we take part in, it's petrochemical, sugar, paper and pulp, metals and mining, and power generation, which I've already alluded to earlier on.
Yeah, power generation, that's just sort of one part of it. But if we now look at boilers, if you have a Machel factory...
And you need steam?
You need steam because you cook with steam. I was actually driving Mondi, the paper guys. They need to generate steam.
That's correct.
For their processor. So you work with all those bigger companies, but do you work with the smaller guys as well?
Absolutely. We try not to discriminate, of course.
I'm watching you guys know it's
times have changed. So as much as Eskom is one of our biggest clients, there are several other clients that we work with in the sectors that I've already mentioned. So every client that we service, we hold to high regard.
You're only based in South Africa, your division?
So we actually service a lot of the neighboring countries, Mozambique, Botswana. We're trying to get back into Zimbabwe. Namibia, we're also trying to get back into that space. But we also have gone all the way up to, most recently, Ghana, and Malawi. So we recently did a boiler rebuild in Malawi for a sugar client of ours, which is quite a successful project. We hadn't been in that space in a long time, and we've been trying to get back in there, and the client gave us a try, and it was a good project for us.
Oh, that's massive. Congratulations. I'm happy for you guys on that one. It's been difficult. I mean, if we now go back with COVID, that was a terrible time for all business.
Yes.
And people think Babcock, international company, big, huge, it didn't touch them. You guys did actually feel that.
We did. We leading up to COVID, we had a few difficulties. We had been present in several of the ESCOM sites, and there was a bit of difficulty with the contract that we had. And we had to really scramble to try and diversify our offerings to different clients. And even within that particular client, we had to try and find different routes from which we could tap off of. It was a difficult time, but I think it was something that was really good for us. We find ourselves in a more diversified space, more stable.
I was just going to say, because I'm sort of building up towards that.
Yes.
We were used to pre-COVID, you were only doing, this is what we do, that's it. And then with COVID, you had to sort of put on a thinking cap and say, well, we got to diversify a bit. We got to look at new clients. We got to look at new business.
Yes.
And that's now happened. And it's opened up much more doors for you guys, I can only imagine.
It absolutely has. So Babcock has a lot of expertise that we would have usually applied in a single space. But we've had to go then refine those expertise. One of them being we lay claim to being OEM for several other systems that feed inside the boiler, such as your fuel pulverizing systems, your coal pulverizers. So we had to scramble into those spaces, really refine our expertise, which we already had in-house anyway, and really leverage off those existing capabilities.
I wanted to ask you, you just mentioned the word in-house.
Yes.
I know that Babcock does a lot of the fabrication, manufacturing in-house, yet you also outsource or bring in contractors, subcontracting for the manufacturing of certain components, parts, and so on. Do you guys still do that, or have you brought everything in-house and do everything yourselves now?
So we do a bit of both. We have agency agreements with certain companies around the world. Some of them we share a common origin story with. Some of them, they provide us with certain equipment that goes onto a boiler, firing equipment, for instance. We partner with a company called the Detroit Stoker Company. It's a U.S. company, and they provide what we call stokers.
Yes.
And those are more applicable to the sugar and paper pulp kind of spaces, where they don't necessarily fire coal, but they use bagasse or mixed fuels.
I'm so used to, and we're so used to cold fire power stations.
Yes.
Do you guys work within the nuclear industry as well?
It is definitely an ambition of ours. The Greater Babcock International, headquartered in the UK, has that capability. And as part of our diversification strategy, we're just trying to also replicate that capability in SA. We're not too far along from achieving that, but that is something that we're looking into.
But nuclear is always a big controversial discussion, and people are not very keen always on nuclear power. But besides the point, I mean, Babcock Engineering, if we want to get a hold of you guys at your division, where do we go? Where can I go and take a look? Have you got a website that will take you through to your division, or maybe LinkedIn and socials?
Yes, so you can find us on babcock.co.za, so www.babcock.co.za. That will take you through to our main website that houses all of our divisions. You will then go to Babcock Engineering Services, and that will give you the contact details that you can simply email. We have a centralized email portal, but it gets distributed towards the relevant stakeholder.
Okay.
And then either myself or my colleague, Malihlo Wanolo, will get in touch with you in regards to your request.
Your head office based in Johannesburg, I take it?
That's correct.
Do you have regional offices and representation throughout South Africa?
So mostly our other business units have representation around the country, particularly plant services. I think Ruvu will take you through that.
Yeah.
But we primarily travel through to our clients as and when required.
Okay.
We also maintain presence at some of our client premises.
So you've got offices on site?
Yes.
And then obviously with your backup and support services, an engineer on site that takes care of Babcock business.
That's correct.
Patrick, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you very much, Martin.
I want to thank you for your time. We're going to give a minute or so for Vuvu to come and join us, also with Babcock. In the meantime, Patrick, I'm going to play this one as we switch over the microphones and get Vuvu the opportunity to come and join us. This is a bit of Bill Withers.